Good morning, Dom. Morning, Jake. Good morning, Sophia, Merv, and Tomas. Welcome. Welcome, Felix, Annabelle, Richard. Same to you. I hope you have a fantastic day. Welcome, KV. I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Oh, here we go. I gotta learn how to take that off settings. We can't do co-host during these ones. So we'll figure it out one day, but I'm not ready for that yet. It's too confusing. And I gotta get much more tech savvy to get there. So give me 1 second. I'm almost got my stuff together. I say almost, but we're all hoping. Welcome, Richard and Ra. Sorry. All right, so I don't know if those who are new, I've been doing the Fire and Flow series, which is talking about transmuting anger, understanding what it is, and taking all that and being able to use it to your highest, best good, which is, in essence, alchemy and transmutation at the highest form. And it's done so simply if we can break it down into bite-sized steps. So, good morning, Cal. The idea is that through all of these ones, and you can always go look back at them, but it's to give you tools for each kind of step. Small, simple, easy to use tools, easy to use reflections, and it's all about getting curious. It's all about being accountable to yourself, not being accountable for other people's stuff, being accountable to only yourself, and then learning how to process it. Don't sit in it, just process it, understand it, and then move on. Taking the lesson, the information that it teaches you about yourself and about others, but mostly yourself first. That knowledge that you learn and understand so you can see the patterns, understand them, and stop them, right? And that's the most important thing, because when we can make a different choice and stop that pattern, then we create a space of peace and a space where we're allowed to be confident in what we're doing and why we're doing it, and not need validation from anyone because we've already validated ourselves. Welcome, Susan and Tyson. So, the last one I did was the fire that becomes creation. Okay, so that's one we've already processed. We went through the rage and anger and the fear and all those things and understood the process of each one. When we get to that space, we're just peeling back the layers, right? So when we turn that into our action, that's our gas, right? That's literally our gas to get us through to the next level. It allows us to create and understand why we're creating it. And then this thing comes while you're 67 gangbang. Oh, Lord. Hello, how are you? What a name. So what we're doing is we're coming back to a place of peace. And when we get to that place of peace, we understand that everything we did, everything we started to create, we're aligned with it. We understand why, we understand what's happening, and we feel confident, and not in an egotistical way. How is what? How am I? How are you? I hope you're doing really well. So when we get to that space, that's where we want to be. So this is kind of the section we're talking about, because after that fire and after you start creation, there's a thing that happens, and there's this stillness, this breath that you take, and you understand, you have this knowing, and you don't need somebody to convince you. You don't need someone to sway you. You can't be swayed. You're unshakable. You know that everything you're doing is for the greatest good for you, first of all, and then everybody else in return. Because if you're doing what's right for you, not hurting somebody else, none of those things, then you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, and eventually that's going to shine out back to all of the people in the world, right? So it's basically your what's as within, so without. So you're going to mirror it back, right? And that's what we're trying to do. But this place of peace is the biggest space that we get to right before the confusion, and then you come full circle. But you have to get it's a section that you have to get through, and some people process it really easily, and some people struggle with it. So the idea is to get to that space where we can get past it and not sit in that struggle and understand it. Welcome, Vladimir and Chun. Welcome. So we need to understand that peace isn't the absence of fire. It's when we've started creating, and we know exactly what that fire is, and now we've focused it, right? And that's the idea. So it's what's left after. It's that absolute knowing that I've done everything on my end to do everything the right way, to the best of my knowledge, to what I know to this point, which is all we can do. So when you make a step, you're stepping out from a place of, I trust myself, I trust what I'm doing because I've already gone through all this process and I've questioned, I've been accountable, I've checked what my fears are, I understand exactly why I'm doing this. Welcome, Anais, welcome, and Beckline. So once you get to that space, every step you take forward, you know that you're doing it from a place of good intention, not out of anger, not out of fear, not out of rage, not out of any of those things. It's out of that knowing that everything that you're doing is to better you and everything around you. And that is, once you get to that place, you don't need validation from anyone because you've already validated yourself. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Jules. And good morning, Ab. So it's not the lack of chaos, okay? It's just clarity. It comes after you've faced all the chaos. You've sorted it back, peeled back the layers, and now you're kind of understanding, I've done the work, okay? I'm not mad about this anymore. I understand the process. I understand my side. I'm pretty sure I understand their side. I can never know 100% what their side is, but what I can know is that I've done everything on my part to be my best self, to stand in integrity. And that's when you say, okay, and your next step, God's going to make sure that you're in the right space, right? And if you're not doing something correctly and you step out of line, the universe will nudge you back gently. And what you have to remember is when you come from that place of peace and you step out, you're not stepping out in anger or retaliation or resentment or any of those things. You're stepping out from a space of, I've already sorted through that. I already understand, and I'm doing my best step. And if it's wrong, the universe isn't going to slam you back in. The universe is going to gently nudge you because maybe you have to pivot a little bit. But there'll be a lesson to learn. And you go there knowing there's going to be a lesson. It's going to be either good or not so great. But if it's not so great, that means something here has to change, right? And you knowing that going in, as soon as something happens, the initial thing is show me the lesson. Show me the lesson so I can move forward and do the best, right? So that's what we come to, that space of clarity, that space of understanding that when we step out and we know it, we absolutely know it. And that's really important. So peace becomes stronger when it's earned through resilience, not avoidance. The moment after the fire, the breath, the quiet, the clarity. I know what I'm doing it, I have an exact reason, and I understand it. There's not vengeance, there's no negative connotation. Everything is for the highest, best good. And it starts with the highest, best good for yourself. That doesn't mean stepping on or hurting anybody else. It just means understanding that if it's not okay for me, then it's going to eventually hurt somebody else. So we need to make sure, first and foremost, does it align with our morals? Does it align with what we believe to be true? And if we believe something to be true that is hindering us, then we need to check that belief and make sure that it's something that we should be carrying with us, if it's a limiting belief or if it's something that separates us from everybody else. Heartfelt feeling, welcome. Santa's little ho-ho-ho. Good morning, welcome. Some of these names, I'm sorry, the giggle, I can't help it. Oh, Vars, good morning. So it's the quiet, the clarity, it's where your true self returns. Peace is the natural result of truth. When you know your truth, nobody can sway you. It doesn't matter what it is. And if it's wrong, the universe is going to show you what needs to change. The universe will put it 10:10 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. They're always going to show you. And it's going to be gentle at first. There'll be little nudges, little whispers in your brain, little signs you see. It'll just be small little things. And if you're like, and if it sticks with you, it means you got to sit with it. Because you probably need to learn something or understand something. Good morning, and Angelia. Welcome. So The moment after the fire, the breath, the quiet, the clarity. It's where your true self returns. It's where you understand you've been accountable this whole time, you've done the work, you've peeled back the layers, and you sat with it. Now you're moving forward with the good intentions, you're moving forward with that force, with that fire of creation, and you're just pushing forward, but you have a clear, direct idea. You may not see the complete end result, but you have a clear path that you know where you're going, and you're firm. You're stepping out, you're confident because you've done all the work to sort through all of the things to make sure that moving forward, everything's with the highest, best good, right? Good morning, D Rose. So, peace is the natural result of truth. It just is. When you stop carrying what isn't yours, your nervous system finally exhales, right? That rage, anger, fear, all those things you've been feeling that we talked about earlier on the other ones, you've peeled back, okay, and you've taken all that energy, you've sorted through it, you understand it, and now you have this ball of fire that you've used to create. That was last time, okay? Now this one, that peace in knowing what you're creating is going to empower you. It's going to teach you everything you need to know. You're going to be stronger, better, faster, smarter, more efficient, and more calm and centered. And when you can get to that space, you just breathe. You exhale. You release all of the other stuff because it's not yours to carry. And then you move forward from that validation space. And when you get to that space, you're unwavering. You're unshakable because you know what you know what you know. You've done the work, you processed it, which 99.9% of people don't even try to do. So when you get to that space, how can somebody who hasn't done that work tell you what you feel or need to do, right? Welcome, Kathy. So peace comes from walking through, not around. Okay, you have to sit with it. You have to peel back those layers and you have to understand it. But these tools that I kind of try to give you for your tool belt, they're simple. They're the simplest things, and usually it's just asking why, when, where, what, all of the basic things. But if you take that application and you put it into practice and ask yourself, then the answers will come up. Welcome, Estella. Good morning, and thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. So, peace is a byproduct of courage, not comfort. When we step out of our comfort zone, okay, we're stepping out with a knowing, an inner knowing that what I'm doing is the right thing to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, because nobody's perfect and we're still going to make mistakes. Things are still not always going to be perfect, but I know that I'm not doing it out of revenge. I'm not doing it out of resentment, anger, fear, rage, any of those things. I'm doing it for my highest, best good, me first, and then in turn, it's going to mirror out to the world, right? Because if you don't fill your cup first, you're running on empty. And if you keep waiting for someone to fill your cup, they're never going to do it because you don't even know what you need to fill your cup. You have to sort through that. You have to understand what it is you need exactly. And when you peel back all these layers and you sit with these, you don't get stuck in them, you sit with them and you ask those questions to yourself. These are general tools. And we talk about journaling, and a lot of people do, and I go through phases. So I'm not that person that's going to tell you to journal every single day, all day. We all have phases, right? And sometimes when you got to get it out, there's not time. So voice record, do what you got to do. Say it. Sometimes just talking to yourself while you're cleaning or whatever, especially if you live alone, you don't have to worry, I guess, as much. But process it however it works for you. It's not about doing, there's this, sitting in meditation. If you're a single mom and you're trying, and single parent, I shouldn't just say mom. If you're a single parent, running through crazy, trying to work and do this and prep this, clean, cook, do all of the things, spend time with your children, sitting still is like torture. It is, as much as we want to do it, so much, sitting still is like torture because you don't know how to quiet the brain, because you've been hyper independent your whole damn life. So instead of punishing yourself for that, because it's not your fault, you need to understand that and love yourself through it and say, okay, so maybe I can't sit still. But when I do dishes, I can dream of all the things. When I do this, however it takes you to get out of that process and out of that critical judging yourself, putting yourself down, worrying about all these things, get out of that and clear your mind and say, what if? What if? What if I could do anything I wanted? What would I do? What would I choose to do? You know, you're not worrying. And when you're asking what if, in the good way, right? what could I do? Not what's going to happen, what could happen in a negative way. We ain't got time for that. We don't want to manifest more of that, right? Welcome, Barry. So what we want to focus on is getting to a space where we can let our mind drift just a little bit and say, what if? If I had the entire universe at my back, if nothing could fail, what would I choose to do in this world? And you're not always going to get the whole answer, but I bet you get a couple cool answers, a couple curiosities, something worth trying. Now, because you've done all that process and all those things, those steps forward, okay, they may not be your perfect everyday step, but it's going to be something, and it's going to be empowering. And when you do it, you know you're stepping out to learn something because you're out of your comfort zone. You're going to learn something, so no matter how that works, you're always going to be better, stronger, faster, more empowered. Why? Because you learned to do it. It didn't kill you. You overcame it. You mastered it. You're learning something new. There's never going to be a place in this world where learning isn't a good thing, period. Slim Boy, welcome. So, you're not calm because you stopped hurting. You're calm because you've grown strong enough to hold yourself when it does. You understand it. You don't punish yourself. You don't stress anymore. You know what you're doing. You've done the process. You've done all of the things. Now you know what you're doing is worth it. It's worth whatever it is, and the lesson, whatever you're going to learn out of that lesson, is going to be another step that helps you move forward better. So each step you take, even if you don't always know the answer, you know that whatever happens, you're going to learn. And if you're putting out goodness and love in the world, then the lesson you're going to learn is usually going to be loving, caring, and learning to understand, learning how to receive. That's the hardest one, I think, when you're someone who's been hyper independent, had to deal with all these things. Learning how to receive is probably one of the hardest things you'll ever learn. But once you do learn that, help start showing up. Whether it's messages like these, whether it's ads on TV, whether it's just animals. Animals always show up with the best messages, right? Welcome, George. So when you start opening yourself up to receive, then you allow yourself to see actually what's going on. And then you come to a place of gratitude. So no matter what happens, you're thankful for whatever lesson comes your way, the good, the bad, the ugly. Because some of our most empowering stuff, some of our most, the stuff we learn the most from, the stuff we take with us, when we leave the actual grief of it, or the anger, or the upset, we know it to be true. Where we learned our greatest lessons was always from pain, right? That dark that everyone wants to hide, and everyone wants to, we all have a shadow self. We all have capability to be just beasts. We also have the capability to be exceptional. So we can balance them both and just walk in our true, authentic self, and say, this is me, this is it, okay? Yes, we can all be good, we can all be bad, but I choose every single day to do this to the best of my ability. And when you do that, there's a different calm that comes about, right? There's this calm that says, there's nothing that this world can do to me that I'm not going to find a way forward, and I'm not going to find a way through it with love. Welcome, Chrissy. Good morning. So, this is emotional adulthood. Okay, this is where your sovereignty begins, because you've processed all the other things, and you know that when you're stepping out, no matter what happens, you're stepping out your true, authentic self, right? And yes, we have laws and we have all those things, but truly, our own separate self, we're accountable to ourselves. So I have a choice. Am I going to go steal something, or am I going to pay for it like a normal person? Obviously, I'm going to pay for it, right? Even if I don't have a lot of money, a lot of this, a lot of that, I'm going to do that because it's my job to be sovereign, right? Which means I have to uphold my own moral ethics, my own moral code. Welcome, Chopped. So when we're doing that and we come to that space, when you move forward and you know you're following your true north, your true moral code, okay, that means that your moral code should never go against the laws, right? I mean, we're not out murdering people. We're not out doing crazy stuff, right? We're just living our life accordingly. We show up, we do our job, we treat people with respect no matter who they are, even if they're mean to us. Respectfully, we step away, if we have to protect ourselves, we're going to protect ourselves. But but we make sure it's to the very last thing. We don't want to go, attacking people, things like that. So I'm not saying don't stand up for yourself. I'm saying that we're sovereign, knowing that if we had to do something, we did it at the absolute last resort, right? And we don't want to do those things. We're past that now. We're past survival mode. We're past all of those things. So we know that when we step out, we're stepping out with integrity. We're unshakable. Nobody can change our mind. Nobody can change our place of peace, because we 1000% understand what we had to go through and all the things we had to process and all the things we had to love about ourselves that we're told to be hidden, that we're told we should be ashamed of. We're told all those things that weren't even our fault or had nothing to do with us, but it was forced onto us from family, from cultures, from traditions, from all these things, religion, so many things. And don't get me wrong, I believe in God, I believe in all that thing, but I also believe in universal law. And I believe that the basic laws, universal laws hold up, right? The law of karma. If you do something bad, it's going to come back. And it's coming back so the universe teaches you. And they're trying to lead you back with love. But if you continue doing it, then the lessons are going to get harder and harder and harder, because that's the only way we learn, right? And it sucks. And it sucks sometimes. It's about being overgiving and all those things. When those ones happen, they hurt the most, because the lesson you had to learn is to start showing up for yourself, which is when you don't know how to do that and no one's ever showed you. That's a hard one to do. And that's why these ones, when we can peel back these layers, we're truly showing up for ourselves every step of the way, and we're learning with tools. And that means if nobody shows up for us, we don't accept bare minimum anymore. We don't accept being mistreated. We don't accept any of those things anymore. Why? Because we learned how to show up for ourselves. We learned what we need to be loved. And that's for us, like how we show ourselves love. And if nobody can give us at least that, then we don't want it, right? We don't want it. We want to stay where we're at our highest, best good. We're not going to keep giving and emptying our cup when nobody is not being reciprocated. And it's not about giving to get. It's about giving and running on empty and not being able to fill your own cup. And it takes practice and it takes time. And what I'm hoping is that these tools are going to help you learn how to fill your own cup first. That way you're going to start cutting off these people that are taking from you and not trying to give back. They're trying to drain you and not even allow you to fill your own cup. Once we get to this space, you're at this space of peace. And it's like, if it doesn't align, it's got to go. And it's respectfully. There's no anger. There's none of those other emotions. It's just peacefully. They got to go. Welcome, Jolene. So you learn to sit with fear, rage, grief, uncertainty, and discover what each emotion was trying to teach. Okay? And what happened is, when we went through all those, we burned away all of the stuff that wasn't yours to carry. Okay? You went through and you processed each emotion. You understood why. Why does this bring me rage? Well, because it was a boundary that was crossed. So the anger now, because we immediately don't jump to killing people, so that immediate rage is just like, stop, you need to pay attention. And that's telling you to pay attention. Check in, what's going on here, right? Welcome, Skiller Diller. Welcome. So when you do that, then the anger, okay, so what boundary is now? I can focus a little more. Why was I angry? Because that's usually a reaction to fear. So what about that scared me? What about this situation created that fear in me? So now you've pulled it through, right? Now that you understand it, you're allowing to show yourself kindness to yourself, right? Which is the idea, because first you need to show kindness to yourself before you can give it out to anybody. Because if you can't, then you're just giving, and then when you run on empty, you're a ticking time bomb, ready to explode all these other emotions that you don't even know how to process. And if you don't know how to process them or understand them, how are you going to explain them to somebody else? Right? That's why people do so much therapy and all those things. And I'm not ever going to say anything against any of that, because whatever works for you is what works. All I can tell you is what worked for me, how I process these things, how I learned how to do it. And it was a million baby steps. And it was messy and it wasn't linear and it was back and forth and peeling back the layers, especially if you have multiple traumas and all kinds of things, which sucks, right? But it just is. You have to sort through it. So you have to understand that it's not going to always be linear. It's not going to be just simple, just like this. It's not. Okay, what we have to understand is, however it is, if we get 2 steps ahead, 10 steps back, You're still 8 steps, right? So, because you're going to keep getting there. You're not going to keep going backwards. Because the next one, you're going to go 3 sideways, 2 somersaults backwards, but it's going to come out in the wash. Because those somersaults needed to check in with that one space that you kept missing because you didn't want to hit it because it was just too deep or too ugly. But once you get those side steps here and the side step here, all of a sudden you start to understand, okay, that really thing that I couldn't sit with, that I couldn't understand, really wasn't that bad. It wasn't even my fault. Why do I have to hold on to that? Right? And when you start understanding that and saying, wait a minute, this ain't mine to carry, this ain't mine to carry, I'm accountable here, 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 and here. All this other crap out here, that ain't mine. I can't hold it. I can't carry it. I can pray and say, thank you for allowing me to release this stuff. I release it with love, with joy, with peace, but it's not mine to carry. And when you can do that, you release it. That's that peace. It's just the most amazing feeling. It's not always gentle. Sometimes it's a burning away, right? You got lots of old roles, old expectations, people's projections, emotional labor you're never meant to carry. Those are all those things that are not yours. So why try and carry them? Welcome, Lee. Sometimes peace arrives because you finally stop being the container for everyone else's chaos. And especially when you're an empath, which, by the way, is a trauma response, okay? 99% of people, that's what it is from, a trauma response. Welcome, EL. So, feeling those feelings and having your nervous system constantly dysregulated because you can feel all the emotions going on around inside you because that's what you're meant to protect. That's a hard thing to understand. And really, when it starts coming in, learning how to sort what's yours and what's not yours, those thoughts that come into your brain that, that's not something I would think. Why is that coming to my brain? Right? It's not mine. Okay, release it. That feeling. Am I feeling anxious right now? Or is that... No, I was pretty just happy. There was nothing to make me anxious. There's no reason for that. So that's not mine. That's not mine. It's not mine to carry. But once you start trusting yourself and understanding that, it's a lot easier to sort through that. So then you can let it flow through you and not hold on to it. Which was, as I was kind of learning, I'm like, yeah, like, how am I supposed to do that? And of course, we go through all those phases. And literally, that's what it was. These step-by-step processes. Small little ones, but we're just peeling back the layers as far as we can. And when it hurts or when it really starts to aggravate us or upset us, that's when you sit with it. That's when you get curious. Okay, because as you start learning to go through the layers, the rage. Obviously, I'm not going to go kill anybody, so I know the rage is gone. It did teach me something. That means I'm upset or scared about something. So immediately you've peeled back 2 or 3 layers. Understand what it is. Okay, how do I move forward with that? How do I take that knowledge and use that to benefit me, to benefit my learning? Well, I research. I do this. I start asking questions. I compile. I do whatever it takes. Get up and clean, get up and move, do something, tap my hand, change the environment, change something that's going on in the immediate until you get calm. Then we get to journal and do whatever it is, talk, pray, do whatever it is that works for you to understand a process. And once you find something that works, you don't want to have just one tool. You want to be able to start painting, start making this, start doing something that allows you the space to just be yourself, just be empowered. Giving, sharing, doing all those things are wonderful things. Just don't overgive and put yourself out, because there's a balanced line, and we have to understand that if there's always going to be takers, so many takers that will just take till you have nothing left, and then where are the givers? And I had to learn that the hard way multiple times. Alphaba, welcome. So sometimes peace arrives because you finally stop being the container for everyone else's chaos. You made space for yourself. Okay, that alone is transformation. It's huge transformation, and it took me a long, long time to get there and understand that. And sometimes it takes a lot of healing and a lot of reflecting back. I don't like to do daily reflections. I do like at the end of the day, like what did I do well? What could I have done better? Where am I standing? And I look at myself in the mirror. Can I look at myself and am I okay with what I did today? With all of my things that I did I do it with integrity? Yes. Okay, I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't do any of those things. Now, is there things that I could do better? Okay, so let's list them. And tomorrow we're going to actively choose one or two and try to do them better. And that's all we can do, right? Welcome, Dizzy Moo. So, yeah, that transformation is peace is power, not passiveness, okay? True peace is strength in its softest form. We have the strength to be vulnerable with ourselves first, and then in turn set up those boundaries to create that safe space, okay? And being vulnerable and creating boundaries, those boundaries are so you can be vulnerable, so you can be yourself, your most authentic self, and not be ashamed of it, and not have to hide it, and not have to worry about who cares, because it's not your business who cares what about you. It's really not. What they think about you is their own thing to deal with. It's what you think about you, what you see when you look in the mirror. Can you sleep at night? Do you go at the end of the day? Yeah, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Get it clear. Nobody is. Okay, but did I do everything to the best of my ability? Yep. Am I still learning? Yep. Am I still trying? Could I do things better? Do I have a small list? We're not going to go critical. We're just small list of being accountable. Can I try to do that a little better tomorrow? And if you can look at yourself and say, yes, 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 then you had a good day. Then you celebrate that day. You love yourself through it. And that's your peace. That's your place of peace. And it's a great place to be. Welcome in, Moke. So, peace doesn't mean you won't set boundaries. It means you don't need to scream them anymore. It's rooted, it's grounded, it's earned. I set my boundaries. I've done all of the things, so now this is the line. I drew that line, and if you continue to cross it, you're cut out. If it's something else, then you take the next step, like business-wise or whatever. But as a personal boundary, personal people, then you just walk away, right? And if they continue doing it, then you do the next steps. If they have to involve legal, whatever, it depends on how far it is, right? But you've set your boundary and you're clear. So you know that the next steps that you do are not in retaliation. They're protecting your boundaries. And there's a big difference. We're not doing it to get even. We're not doing whatever. We're doing to protect our peace, our space, our boundaries. And when you come from that space, there's no changing your mind. You know exactly what you're doing. And you're doing it very clearly, and you're doing it calmly, and for everybody's highest, best good at the end of the day. God smile, good morning. So, peace means you trust yourself now. You know what threatens your inner quiet and what protects it. You have a quiet knowing. I survived, I grew, I'm ready to begin again, and this is your reset point. This is your resurrection moment. Peace doesn't erase the past, it transforms it into wisdom. You're no longer in survival mode, which, when we get to that space, man, I just got to tell you, you have to understand when you've been in survival mode your whole life, when you find that space of peace, there's not a person on this planet that you're going to let take from you, right? You're always going to know how to get back there. You have no problem walking away, leaving a building, doing wherever, leaving a situation. Because it's not for you, you're like, nope, not having no part of that. And that's the best thing you could ever do. Good morning, Becca. How are you? So peace doesn't erase the past. It transforms it into wisdom. You're no longer in survival mode. You're in creation mode. And when you get to that space, that's when you allow that fire that you've already built up, all that energy, that creation now just sets your path. It sets your trajectory, and it gives you the gas. But the peace is that knowing that every single thing I do moving forward is the best possible outcome, because I'm doing it with the best possible intentions, right? And from a place of peace. There's no resentment. There's no anger. There's none of that. I've resolved that. I understand that. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I am. I'm doing really well. It's been a crazy busy week. I don't even want to look at the notifications on TikTok right now because I'm so far behind because it's been a crazy week, but I had to get this done, and I still got to finish. I'm in the business program, so I have so much other, like, actual work to do, paperwork, all that kind of yucky stuff, but learning to balance that, trust me, that is a whole thing in itself, but we're getting there. We're playing catch-up this week, so I'm hoping that this weekend I'll be able to catch up and reset with everything. But even this once I've done this content, then I'll still, like I do, then I'll do the December action steps. They're coming. But literally, it's been absolutely crazy the things that I've been doing this week, which is why I've kind of not been around. But I gotta get my crap together. So, when you gotta like this something comes out of nowhere, and you're like, "Holy crap, what do I do?" And then you gotta figure it out, balance it out, and now we're almost to here. So I'm working there. We really request you to save us today with a meal. I can't save you today. How would I save you? And that's the worst thing you could do like that. You post your posts. When you ask people like that, it makes them feel obligated, or it pulls some. People have to be able to give from a space of being able to give. And if you put that pressure on people, it's going to turn them the other way. 1000%. Good morning, Viola. And even if you mean well, like, you have to understand, saying it like that just makes people, if I had the money to do things, I would absolutely help you. But we have bills to pay too. What you have to focus right now is getting your stuff out there and sharing it to the people that can help. There will be a space when I can help eventually, but until then, making someone feel really badly because they can't is just not the way to do it. You just have to share, like I told you, share your group, do your posts. I want to see you get all the help you need, but I am not the person that has the funds to give you right now. If I did, I would. I've done without my whole life. I'm catching up now, almost at a place where I can live without worrying about having to lose my place of living every day. So I'm almost to stability. So I don't know what you mean. Do us alive? What does that mean? I want to help you. I want to see you do well, but I don't know enough about your company, and I'm not about to put myself at risk. Post your funds, post your page, post your things that you need understanding with, so we can help you. But doing it like that is just not, it's not a good way to do it. If you make people feel like crap, they're gonna feel like crap, and then they're just gonna hide from it. They're gonna be like, no, I can't, and then they're gonna feel bad. But when you share and you actually promote what's going on and you share what you're trying to do, then you empower people. You don't obligate them. You say, yes, you have that. When you see me do my lives, do you ever see me ask people for likes? Do you ever see me ask people to gift? Do you ever see me to ask people for these things? I appreciate them. Thank you, Becca. I do appreciate them. But the reason I don't ask for them is because when I'm giving what I have to give. Okay, if I have money, if I have little gifts in my thing, I will always go and I will share like that. I will do my absolute best to do those things. But you have to understand, we can only give us from a space that we have. You have a space, you have a page, you have a fund, and if that's something that you're really trying to promote, I want to help you promote that. But you have to be very clear on what you're needing, very clear in how they can help you. List all of the places, all the ways they can help you. And then you gotta, let people see so they know that they're actually giving it and it's going to be helping. It's really important. Because if they don't know what they're helping, they're going to be like, no, thank you. Right? I don't want to just give more people. There's so many scams out there. You have to stand out. You have to be absolutely truthful and with integrity, everything you're trying to do. But don't stand out like this. Stand out on your page. Stand out with your things you're sharing. I promise you, it'll make a difference. Okay, I got sidetracked because I really do want to help you, but I don't have funds and I can't, and it's a hard way for people to have to feel that way when it's like that, okay? But make sure you do your posts, and I'll share them, and I'll do my very best I can for you. Okay, so peace means you trust yourself now. You know what threatens your inner quiet and what protects it. It's a quiet knowing. I survived, I grew, I'm ready to begin again. This is your reset point, your resurrection moment. It doesn't erase the past, but it transforms into wisdom. How to do it better, stronger, faster, more efficient, more heart-centered, heart and mind-centered, right? Because we want to always be to the best of our ability. There's going to be times where you have to be straight logic. There's going to be times where you have to be all heart and take the risk. But I promise you, once you understand this, you know how to sort through it, and you know what step you got to take. And if you're someone who's usually all heart, having to be all logic is extremely hard to do, because that heart wants you to help, do. But you can't always do that. I promise you, I'm not giving you bad advice. I'm giving you the best advice I possibly can. I want to help you. I want you to help yourself. But don't make people feel obligated like that. Ask for what your help, but do it on your... Create your page. Create your stuff like that. But asking people like that just makes them feel bad. And if people can help, they need to know how to help. This is not the space to do it. How could I send you anything? Send your foundation to me. Let me do some research. Actually do research. And if I see that it's doing well and they're actually helping where it's helping, I'll donate myself personally. But I need proof. I always need proof. It's not personal to you or anyone else. I don't donate to the Red Cross, to any of those things, because I'm not paying for someone to drive a Lamborghini while them kids are still starving. Okay, and I'm not saying you're doing that, but there needs to be a paper trail. You need to have, there needs to be funds. There needs to be things that are showing what's actually happening, so that it's guaranteed that these people are being helped. That should be your only priority, your first priority. And you're getting there. I know you are, and you're learning, and I'm really happy. I'm happy to see you doing better and getting out there. But I really want to see you focus on that, because it will be extremely helpful in your future. Welcome, Shay. All right, so peace doesn't erase the past. It transforms it into wisdom. You're no longer in survival mode. You're in creation mode. And that is an extreme step forward. Extreme. Will Miguel ever give... Oh, I don't know. And I don't know who Miguel is. And I don't get into other people's energies. If you ask me something about yourself and your life, then that's different. But I don't go peeking in the curtains on somebody else's life. Miguel didn't ask me to look. So I'm not doing that, because that is karma. And I don't believe in messing with universal law. You want to know if you're going to pass your test or something like that, I can give you all the advice in the world. But I promise you, peeking in somebody else's curtains, never going to be okay, and you will get karma for that. So be very clear when you're asking, understand what you're asking, and be respectful. Because if you want someone peeking into your energy or just jumping into your stuff, asking everybody questions about you, like, no, you wouldn't want that. That's your business, that's your energy, it's your life. And somebody just without asking, without your permission, peeking in, it's just like peeking in their windows, and I refuse to do that. So welcome, Suzette. This moment is the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. So now, the biggest thing, I always do card pulls and stuff, because I love to have Spirit confirm my messages, and it always happens, and it blows me away every single time, because when we get to this space of knowing and understanding ourselves, we don't need confirmation from Spirit. But what happens is, when you get that confirmation, it's like a hug. It's truly like a hug from the universe saying, yes, you're doing the right things. You should be very proud and move forward with your best intentions. We're excited to see what you do. And literally, that's what it's going to feel like when you have that confirmation. It's a pretty amazing feeling. Olaria, welcome. You got to put it on your own post. Well, as this shows up on the comments, if people can have the choice to go look at it. But you need to be posting your post with that stuff. Does that make sense? Welcome, Kylie. Okay, so these are some reflection questions. And I always say journal, but I need you to understand we all have things when we're trying to process, or we're upset, or we're not in that moment where we can write, because our brain doesn't go as fast as our hands. Like, I get it. So if you can't write, just reflect on these questions. Speak it. Use your voice to text. Speak it into your phone, and then you can write it later when it's calmed. But the immediate process is about just understanding these things. So some of these are, what is peace teaching me right now? What have I recently burned away that was never mine? Usually it's a limiting belief, it's a fear, it's something structured, a tradition that hinders you from moving forward. I'm not saying all traditions are bad, because there's so many phenomenal ones out there. But when we understand that that's not, just because that tradition is amazing doesn't make another one less amazing. And when we start using them as a blocker instead of a way to unite, because we have this same in our tradition, in our family, and this, so there's got to be something good there. But when you use it as a way to separate, then that's when some of these anger and fear and all those things come in. So when we can understand that these are actually things that we can unite with in such a more open way, then we only know that when we start questioning, right? We need to understand it, and then we need to let go the expectation and the limiting belief there, and be more open and ask and just say, what else do I need to understand with that? And I promise you, Spirit's going to give you the answer. Welcome, Carol. And then we have, where do I feel the difference between false peace, numbing, right? Coping methods, drugs, alcohol, smoking, eating, numbing out, watching too much YouTube, too much whatever, right? So you don't have to think or process. Or what is the actual peace, where you know you've come back, you can see the patterns, you can see it all laying out. And when you get to that space of peace where you can actually watch and go, oh, that unfolded, oh, that makes so much sense. I did understand that all the way through. That place of peace, you're validating yourself and understanding that you already knew, you already saw it coming. You just had to, you didn't understand the bumps in the road to get there. And those bumps in the road was what it took to transmute or to alchemize all of these things so you could get to this space, right? And the real peace, that is the grounded truth. And when you get to that space, oh my God, like, it cannot be taken from you. And that's the most amazing thing ever. Pumpkiness, welcome. And then, how is my inner light guiding me forward, right? What am I doing, and what is it that I know my soul is telling me this is the right thing to do? I'm doing it to the most utmost integrity and to my best intention. What is that? And when you're clear and you understand that peace, now you have intention. You're stepping forward with that absolute intention. And that's a different kind of peace, because you know every intention is from the highest, best intention. You know you're going to win. Like, you know you're going to win. How could you not win? You're stepping out with integrity, with the best intention. You've processed all the things. You don't have that filter of anger, of resentment, of any of those things. You're stepping out from a place of validation from you, from the universe, from everything in your surroundings, because you know that you've done the work here. And when you've done the work here, it must match out there. So you're not going to see as much of the negative things because you're not focused on it. Okay, I'm not saying they don't happen. We don't ignore them. But if we can't control it, if you see somebody robbing somebody, okay, are you going to go and say, excuse me, you can't do that? No. Are you going to call 911? Probably. And rightfully so. You know, and there's only so much you can do. And if you have the strength to go stop it and you want to do that, I'm not ever going to tell someone not to. But if you don't go run and stop it, is God going to hate you? No, because you're human. There's a place of peace that comes understanding I did everything I could possibly do in the situation. Release it, let it go. If it's out of my hands, out of my control, it needs to be out of my heart and mind. We pray for people that need help. Where we can help, we do our best. Where we can give, we give. But if we can't, we're not going to punish ourselves for it. And when we get to that space, we understand that everything is in alignment, and we'll do everything we can each step of the way. And it's going to be heart-led, heart and mind-led. Okay? But so we understand that space of peace is all we're going towards. And anything that comes as a lesson, we know a way to get back to that place of peace. And that's phenomenal. Welcome, Adriana. And then, what boundary is peace asking me to protect? Of course, our peace, right? That's the main boundary. But how many other ones, right? We already know that line is. We don't have to go aggravating if somebody gets close to the line. We just make note and keep moving. When they cross the line, we speak it, right? We speak it. You're crossing that line. you have one chance to do right, and then I'm going to do what I need to do to protect that boundary, right? And you make it very clear, and you stay aligned, and you do it to that space where no matter what you're doing it from integrity. I spoke it. I gave the opportunity. I gave the opportunity. I gave the opportunity. There's only so much, right? You can't keep asking somebody to do what it is that you need. If they refuse to do it, then you walk away. It's not your problem. You can't be dealing with that. But you do it with no resentment, with no hate in your heart, and you say, enough. That's my peace, and I will do whatever it takes to protect it. Jaggery, welcome. And then, what does begin again look like for the version of me I am today? And that's the most important one, because once you've found that peace, there's nothing that you can do to lose it, because you know how to keep yourself aligned. You're already and it's not that you're ever going to come out of peace, because there's always going to be chaos and this and all that going on around you. The point is, you know how to come back to it every single time. You know how to check in. You know how to process. You know how to take whatever tool you need from all of those things. Say, this is what I need right now. So I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to process it. I'm going to understand it. And then I'm going to move forward. But you're always at that space of peace, because you know how to get there every single time. Welcome, Brecca. So these are the ones that I had. This is what we were talking about today, and you can always look on my social media. I'm always posting them. It has my logo, and then this is the QR code to get to my website, where I have all my teas, handmade teas, especially my gratitude tea, which is one of the things that are great for coming back into peace. They're great for sitting in gratitude, for being present with yourself, and checking in. I have guided healing journals. I have all kinds of good stuff on there. I have handmade artwork, and I will be posting all of this content up there, so you can always go and click on each one, whichever one you really need to dig in a little deeper with. The next one we have, this is the next one coming, is the still point. And let me tell you, this is probably one of the hardest ones, but spiritual heal, welcome. When you get to that point, it's a tough one, but once you understand what it is and how to move forward from it, then you really give yourself that space. So we're almost done this one, and it's going to be all up by the end of the month on my website. So you don't have to go searching through all the things. You can just go to the content and then click on whichever one you want. And then it will take you to my YouTube, which is Creativity Guides Me. You can just go follow me and see all the ones I post up. Or you can wait, and on my website you can check it all out and all the stuff that I sell. Welcome in. Okay, Spirit, can I have one of the gratitude cards just based on the message I had today? Something to help align. Okay. I got two. So, we got, for one who finds joy within the self, rests satisfied within the self, and whose life is dedicated to self-realization, there remains nothing further for that person to accomplish. And that is the most thing that I can try and teach, okay? And I'm not the perfect teacher. I can only tell you what worked for me. And hopefully this gives you a couple tools and a couple ways to check in and understand and process these things without having to go out and beat yourself up or let all this stuff wear you down. Because that's not what we want to do. We're kind of done with that, right? So how has your quality of life improved since you began your self-care journey? Reflect and celebrate on your progress. It doesn't matter if you weren't perfect. It doesn't matter if you didn't do this, because guess what? Nobody on this planet is perfect. What matters is you showed up for yourself. And each day you show up for yourself, you're realigning and you're telling your soul and you're telling your inner child, I'm here. I'm the adult you needed me to be. I'm showing up. I'm trying to be it. Okay, nobody's perfect. So when things go wrong, okay, check in. How did I do that? What did I do that wasn't right? How can I fix that? How do I move forward? And how do I understand this lesson and take that and not carry the anger, the grief, the resentment, those things? And with the tools that I've been teaching, you can actually do that very simply. And it becomes easier and easier the more you do it. At first, it's not going to feel great. It's not going to be comfortable. Healing is not comfortable, but the end result is phenomenal. Well, I don't know if there ever truly is an end result. I think we're always constantly healing and learning because we're always learning. But you become more empowered, you become more confident, you become more understanding and compassionate for others because you understand they're just not there yet. They haven't had that part of their journey yet. So how can you punish somebody when you know you've been there before? So it becomes a lot more about self-compassion first, but in turn, compassion given out to everybody else, okay? So, and then the other one is because one is, oh, sorry, that's the same one. No, it's not. Oh, yes. Okay. I thought I was like, wait a minute, it's the same card, but it's not. Because no, one is content with oneself. One doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. So that place of peace that I'm talking about, if you want to talk confirmation, that was double confirmation, and I love that. Bring your attention to your body. This is a calming method, and this is how we start processing that trauma that's actually stored in our body. Bring your attention to your body. Where are you holding tension? Take a few moments to relax. Focus on whatever that is and relax. Whatever space it is, your shoulders. Hi, Scott. How are you? I'm doing good. But it's all about checking in with yourself. And when you get to that space of peace, that space of gratitude, that space of understanding yourself and how you process things and what amount of what works for you, then you're going to get there. Do I need to sit in the rage moment for, 2 days to process it? No. I process, understand, yeah, I'm really angry in this moment, but I'm not full of rage. So you've already passed that. You skip past it. I don't need to sit in rage because I know that I don't need to be extreme to solve the problem. That's already a self-realization. That's already a place knowing that my next step is not going to come from rage. Okay, so I've already got through that, and I know that nothing needs to be handled at that level. And when you get to that space, you're saying, okay, I know no matter what, it's not going to get crazy out of hand. So now I'm safe. I'm here now in this moment. I have a right to be angry. Anger is valid, right? Why am I angry? That's when you can start asking those questions. It's literally understanding what tool you need in that moment, taking it out, sitting with it, and saying, okay, how is this going to help me? How can I move forward? And what is it teaching me about myself? Okay, it's not our business to learn about others. It's our business to learn about ourselves so we can be more compassionate to others. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Okay, Spirit, can I have a self-care card to go with the message I have given today, where we're talking about that place of peace? That's peace you get when you figured out all the other tools, you understand your next steps, and you start creating. Just give me one, please. Okay. We got, enjoy the little things. For one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. What little things happened today that you can be grateful for? How and why did they impact your day? It's so simple. Welcome, Trust and Tarot. It's so simple. Okay, when we're grateful for the small things, the universe is going to just keep showing us more and more and more. And then when we learn how to be open to receiving, because when we're grateful, we're receiving, then we become open to the bigger things. We understand we're learning how to receive, and being grateful is being grateful for the things we're receiving. So when we learn that in the small, and we learn, and then when those big things come, we know how to do it in such a great way. And that's processing all of these things is teaching this. Truly, it is. Good morning, Derek. How are you? I hope all is well. All right, I'm just trying to put these back so I stay a little bit organized as I go through, because Lord help me. Once I'm disorganized, it's utter chaos. Welcome back, Ain. Okay, and then I need to have, I love these ones. I like to pull them all, because Spirit always has a small story to tell or something to share. Well, just one, though. We don't want a whole story today. Good morning, Sharon. How are you? Thank you. We got Whale and Orca Elders. I love this one, actually. Share your song, frequency of sound, and diving deep. Let me see here. Whale and orca. Angel number 126, have a look there. There's usually a message. So, the whale and orca elders are benevolent cosmic beings here to anchor a frequency of love onto the planet, to harmonize it with their song. As they weave around the oceans, they do so much more than any of us know. Their physical presence affects Earth's magnetic field, and their harmonics call us to wake up and remember our own soul's song. Looking into the eye of a whale is something you'll never forget. Whales see into your very being, and in an instant, you're changed forever. They see beyond the physical, the woundings, the identity, the personality, the story. They see right into your soul. If you pull this card, you're being called to surrender to your deepest truth and share it with potency, to bow to who you truly are, to stretch your heart wide enough to hold it all, to leave your fears, doubts, and baggage at the door, to question any part of you that doesn't feel good enough. The whale and orca elders want you to give others the privilege of seeing who you truly are, and for you to see the same in other beings. To drop your hang-ups and personality flaws and get busy revealing the unique note your soul came here to sing. Allow the song that echoes in the 4 chambers of your heart to emanate in all 4 directions. Peel back the layers of suffering and pain and reveal to others your soul's true song, and endeavor to see the soul of all those you meet. How are you being called to share your soul's unique song? When you're peeling back the layers of all the things that I've been teaching through this whole content series, it's about transmutation, but it's also about understanding yourself, which, by the way, is one of the purest forms of transmutation, of alchemy. And when you understand yourself, it becomes a lot easier to share it with the world, because nobody's telling you who you are anymore. You're not accepting what people tell you you are. You just know who you are, and whether they agree or disagree is not your business. What your business is yourself, showing up for yourself the way you need to be showed up for, filling your cup first, so that every time you help, every time you dive into a new project, to a new task, to anything that you're doing it from a place of peace. You're using that fire, that creation that we talked about last time, but this place of peace gives you that intensity, because you know that you're gonna win. You know you're gonna win. There's no second guessing. There's no questions. You know you're gonna win because you've put in the work. You've done the process. Welcome, Ashley. How are you? Okay, Spirit, can I have just one? We don't want a whole story. Just one for the message we had today. Trust the niggle. I love this one. I love this one. And it's so true, because once you trust yourself, you're going to trust those nudges. You're going to trust everything. Oh, welcome back, Vars. How I missed you. Okay. Angel number 52. So have a look there. There may be an extra message. Where are you at? All right. Trust the niggle, the niggling feeling, that annoying niggling feeling, that inconvenient, annoying niggling feeling. Try as you might, it's there. It ain't going anywhere. Most people spend years ignoring their niggling feelings, throwing their best dollops of stubbornness, ego, and post-rationalization, oh my lord, to numb them out. It's exhausting. This is going to be a tongue twister. And until you face the niggle, life just throws you more bait to awaken it, to draw your attention to the light within you that is bursting to come out. The niggle is an arrow pointing to what is standing in your way, the relationship, the conversation, the decision, the shift that needs to be made, the stone in your shoe. Often we feel the niggling feeling in our body first. Many people think that intuition is something from the higher realms, but in fact, it is the body that is the intuitive one, working through our senses to deliver vibrational information. It takes just a moment every day to scan your body to receive the intuitive intelligence and act on it quickly. You're being called to face the niggle now. If you don't face it, the universe will throw something much bigger and more obvious in your path. And then you will likely regret that you didn't answer the niggle in the first place. I know it's scary, but you are safe. Answer the niggle now. What is your niggling feeling trying to tell you? That little thing that's in the back of your mind that just won't let go. That thing that's telling you that, hey, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. That's your intuition. That's the universe telling you all the things you need to know. And when you get to that place of peace, you already know it, you hear it, you understand it. But you're calm, you're intentional, and you know how to trust it. You're stepping out, trusting, you're stepping out in faith. Truly, that's what you're doing. But when you step out in faith, it's because you trust that niggle. You know that it's there. It's in the back of your mind. It's not going to go away because it's something that you need to do. Like when my ears start ringing and something's really important, especially if I'm being really kind of unaware that day, my ears will just start ringing. And it's like, hey, tune in, pay attention, focus. And all that means is get present, focus. What is it that I'm in? What do I need to do? What's going on around me? What do I need to understand? When you process all those other things and you're not seeing it from the filter of anger, of fear, of resentment, of any of those things, you're seeing it from a place of peace. And from that place of peace, you know that your next step forward, no matter whether it's the best step or not, it's going to be a step to the highest good. It's going to be a step that's going to teach you something, but it's going to teach you gently, and it's going to teach you in a positive way because you're going in with gratitude, you're going in with peace, and you're going in with the best intentions for all involved. And that's really important. I only have a couple more, but this is really good messages, and I really like that it's coming like that to go with the message that I was talking about. For those that come in late, they may not understand how closely it aligns, but if you want to know, you can very much go and watch the video in a couple hours when I post it on my YouTube. I always post the replays. Give me just one, please, Spirit. Something to talk about that place of peace, how we're going to come to it, move forward, but we just won't. Okay, I said one, but two is it. I'll take two. Oh, you snuck in three. You sent two to the floor. Balance, spirituality. Okay, I'm gonna do them all because there's a story here. Balance spirituality with practicality. Your hard work is paying off. Okay, we can't be all spirit and no practical. Okay, and that's the balance, and that's the thing that I'm trying to teach. Yes, we want to understand spiritually what's going on, but we need to understand that we have to put in the work. And it doesn't mean you have to do all the work, because we're always manifesting. But if we're speaking negativity and all of those things and anger and all those things out in the world, it's going to come back to us, right? Because that's what we're manifesting. So we want to speak light, we want to speak love, we want to speak intentionally, right? And then we want to put in the work. Do we know how to do all of the things? No. But if we take those steps, right, and I know how to do this, and I know how to do this, and I know how to look this up, and I know how to research this, you're going to learn more, right? So you are doing the work. And when you show up and you're doing the work intentionally every single day, Spirit's going to show. They're going to show you. They're going to open the path. These things are going to come out of nowhere. The great lessons, the helpers, the all of the things just start showing up. And I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been a part of it many, many times. So it's not something that I'm just saying like offhanded. I know. I'm walking proof every single day. And then there's the time for healing. That's what this is. And when we understand that there's a time for healing, it means we're always actively healing, okay? There's always a time for it. There's always a moment, whether it's just taking that breath. What do I do from here? How am I feeling in this moment? Am I happy? Am I grateful? If I'm not happy, is there something that I need to check in with? Is there something I need to understand? How simple is that? There's always a time for healing. Always. But you don't have to live in it. You're just actively, once you start learning how to do it and understanding the tools, you get the joy of having the tools. Which healing tool do I need? Which thing do I need in this moment? Okay, what do I need to sit with? What do I need to understand? Wow, I'm really doing well here because now I understand it. Now you're celebrating yourself because you've already done the healing just by asking the questions. Just by being honest with yourself and asking the questions. That's pretty wild. Welcome, Psychic Charlie. I only have a couple more decks. We're not going to go crazy today. But the Lemuria, I really like that one just because I'm a fan. That's just my own thing. But the messages are beautiful. They're heartfelt. But right now we have the Creativity Oracle. Just give me one, please, Spirit. Something to help focus this message. And we're not doing just push and direction. Okay, so I don't want to read them both. But push. Don't feel, oh, I'm going to have to. Don't feel inadequate. Forget how to quit. Push on no matter how things look. And the only way we do that is by checking in with ourselves first. Okay? It doesn't matter if you have to belly crawl. It does not matter if you have to belly crawl for 10 steps. Because on that 11th, you're going to get up to your knees and crawl. And then if it takes 10 or 11 more, 11 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. If it takes 10 more, doesn't matter, because by then you'll be, walking on 2 feet again. You may not be running, you may not be flying, but it doesn't matter. You just keep pushing through, and I love that one. And then we have directions. They're completely the other end. 11. Thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. Okay. So we have push. Don't feel inadequate. Forget how to quit. Is that upside down? No. Push on no matter how things look. Welcome, Colleen. The push card is an indication that now is the time to exert extra effort, especially if you've been feeling like giving up. It can also be a reminder that we all need to push sometimes. Let every door with a sign saying push on it be a reminder to us that if we want to get to the next space in our creative journey through life, we have to use our energy to neutralize barriers and move things along. Creative people are thoughtful, and thoughtful people are kind and polite. The type of people who might have a hard time with being perceived as pushy by anyone, including themselves. The appearance of this card is an indication that now is not the time to let go and let God. It is the time to emulate the deities and work your will upon the world. Give your goal a push. In other words, the universe does a lot of the work and all the stuff for you, but only if you show up. You have to show up. Welcome, Nada. And then we have 39. You have to show up. You have to not give in. And that place of peace is meant to give you the energy, the calmness, and the, I don't want to say desire, but it is desire, but more the resolution that what you're doing moving forward is in the best possible good for all. And that becomes really important in how you move, right? So then we have direction. Switch gears, reboot, and try a new and different direction. The direction card is an indication that you or the situation in question would benefit from changing the direction in which you are headed. An example would be starting a screenplay but then turning it into a novel, or taking a symphony and turning it into an opera. This card is a reminder that though we should give the initial direction we choose to go in a fair try, there are always usually several ways to creatively approach any challenge, and we need not be concerned with our connection to any one of them. This card can also be an indication that we should allow ourselves to be directed by another, at least for a time or for one aspect of the situation at hand. If you have asked about a situation you are considering in which you would be directing, like a play or film, then this card is a strong confirmation that this is the way things should be done. I love the artwork on these. Welcome, zombies. And then I have just three more, because I always do an angel number at the end. But the whole point of it is when you get to that place of peace, when you've done the circle, or 3/4 of the circle, when you've got there, that place of peace allows you to step out and understand that you already know how to come back to that place of peace every single time, no matter where you end up stepping out to. And that's the most important thing that you can learn. Welcome, Darren. Okay. I want just one of these, please, Spirit. One beyond the myriad. On the subject that we're talking about, coming back to peace, Unique gifts, yes. I almost could see that one in my head. That's wild. 55. Unfortunately, there's a lot of reading, but when these messages come out, it's meant to align with my message. And I can intuitively say what it's going to be, which I'm usually always talking about. But these confirmations are meant to confirm exactly what I'm talking about and why. And when you understand that, and you go back and you look at the beginning part of the message that I talk about from my own learning, from my own research, from my own checking in, which I share, then these confirm all of my message. And you can always go back to any of them and you'll see they're very aligned, and they're very aligned because they matter. And when you can understand how to process this, you're going to understand all the other things that come with it a lot easier, a lot faster, and you'll be able to share and help other people. I passionately believe that we all have gifts to bring to the world. If we all did what we truly excelled in and enjoyed, our talents and abilities would enable our communities and our planet to thrive. What would the world be like if each person contributed from a place of overflowing enjoyment without obligation? Where would we be if the jigsaw pieces came together for a diverse and complementary reality, free from prejudice or competition? Some of us have already discovered or remembered what we feel we are here to do. Others are still seeking or just starting to consider this idea. Your inspiration may come as a message in a vision, or a dream. It may be something others have recognized in you for a long time. It may come from a deep resonance with something you are yet to try. You may be concerned it will affect or transform your current lifestyle. Welcome, Happy Hips. Good morning. Your gift or purpose may be something you enjoyed immensely as a child but did not bring into your adult life. Perhaps there's an array of shoulds holding you from what you love doing. When there's an enjoyment in what you do, you can give more to it, beyond your usual capacity. It lights you up when you think or talk about it, and you need less in your life as you are more fulfilled doing it. When you don't do it, you might feel ungrounded or low in energy. If you haven't connected with your purpose, look at your quirks and what they are telling you. You may struggle with some things because your mind works differently in these areas. Things you may have considered shortcomings might actually be the qualities that enable your gifts. I struggle with dyslexia, and my synesthesia is so strong that there was always a process of translation when I went outside, learned, or socialized communication. I had to decipher concepts and thoughts from luminescent abstract images that amplified the more energy there was behind them. It was quite frustrating, and I felt it made me seem unintelligent. The words I could muster felt inferior to the information I was experiencing. The time it took to translate meant much was lost, so I would often give up mid-sentence. I understand that very well. However, this nonlinear way of navigating reality was perfect for energy healing and traversing realms. When I discovered painting, these skills were even more helpful. I then realized I could explain everything in a visual way that included the flow and color of a feeling, and somehow people all over the world seem to understand. And if you can see the artwork here, every single one of them she made, they're just phenomenal. What makes you unique? Any quirks that you feel are shortcomings could be the key to your superpowers. Look for the positive sides of your oddities and traits. How would you like to spend more time? Are there things you would like to try or feel a pull to explore? Now is the time to follow these whispers. You never know how transformational they will be. And once you get to that place of peace, there's never a question. You know, even if it's not the perfect thing for you, you know that you will have learned. You know that you will be more empowered. You'll be more knowledgeable. And there's going to be no resentment or hate because you've learned. And you can still share that knowledge to your loved ones, to whoever it is that may need it. And if you did learn it, even if you didn't continue doing that for the rest of your life, you're taking that knowledge, and I promise that you're meant to know it because there's somebody in this world that you're meant to help, especially with that knowledge, specifically with that knowledge. And maybe it may not be all of it, and you didn't go all the way through. We're not talking like, actual degrees and stuff, but you did enough research and enough knowledge that something that you know is meant to help share it with somebody that desperately needed that information. You just might not know it yet. You may have already used it to help people, and still may all the time. 101, starting over, which, by the way, is goes along exactly with the message I was talking about, and I love that so much. So we got 101. So when you start seeing 101 all over the place, that's your call to understand, first of all, this message aligned with you. So there's lots of things that you can take from it that will be helpful, extremely helpful for you. Also, it's your angel saying, we're here, we love you, we have your back. Whenever you're ready to start listening and paying attention, we can start working together for your best benefit, right? And then it's also saying, get present, look around, what's going on, what's happening, what am I thinking, what was I doing, what was I talking about, what music was playing, what's going on in the world around me, just in the initial environment, because there's always going to be something there that tells you which might lead to your next step, which might be something, an inspiration, or something that's just going to drive you into your greatness. And it's 11:21 on the clock. Okay, so wisdom, transformation, resilience, growth, empowerment, and new beginnings. Happiness stems from self-expression, growth, and experiences. View failures as steps to a deeper wisdom. Happiness is real, achievable, and all around you. Appreciate both the small and significant moments on your journey. Failures are opportunities for renewal. Embrace the fresh start ahead. It couldn't be more aligned. Thank you, Spirit. And then I just have one more affirmation one, and then we're going to end it for this one. But I will be starting the December action steps for December. What's today? The 26th? Yeah? 26th. So I think I'm going to start it tomorrow. And we'll do them. And there's still 2 more on this content series. But to keep them up and to do them both, I have to do a little bit of both. It's this one again. This one is... when it comes to the healing, this one is always going to be one of your best affirmations. I can forgive people quickly, release my resentment, and set myself free. Resentment isn't yours to carry, and then it just is a chain that connects you to all these things, the limiting beliefs, the projections, the thought processes, the things that people are expecting out of you that is not up to them to expect anything. The only person that should expect anything out of you is you. The only person you should compete with is you, because every day you show up a little bit better, just with the intention to show up better and try and learn more, you're automatically beating the person you before, right? And that's the only competition you should ever worry about. And then all that I love is more important than all that I fear. So the last couple of these, and of course we're talking about transmutation and alchemy, so that only makes sense why they would come out consistently. And it's because when we can process and understand these parts, when I lead from a place of love, people respect me. Okay, these are affirmations that we're speaking. We're speaking them into the world. We're letting everybody know that no matter what happens, we're coming from a place of peace. And to get to that place of peace, you had to go through the rage, the anger, the fear, the resentment, the dealing with the kindness, the cracking your heart wide open, right? And then learning how to shine light in those shadows and love yourself through the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is a process that once you understand what it is, the strength that comes from that, the clarity, the peace, the reset. And that's really what it is. You still have that fire. You still have that energy. You have all of that stuff from the anger, the fear, the rage, all of it. But now you've learned how to channel it. Now you're turning it into creation for your highest, best good, into knowledge, into research, into whatever it takes to be your best benefit, right? You're not hurting other people. You're just learning. You're becoming a better person. You're learning about yourself. You're showing up. You're shining light in your dark spaces and saying, I love all of them. Because that shadow was at some point in my life was meant to protect me. Okay? It was there as a protection method. Okay? That doesn't mean everything we did was right. What it means is at the time it was right. It was all we knew. But I'm 1,000% always going to say Once you know you can do better, you should always actively try to do better. And when you learn that and you understand that, then you forgive yourself. It's easier to forgive yourself because yeah, I didn't know better then, but now I do. So I'm going to do better. And then when you look at other people, you can have a lot more compassion for them because you're like, they probably don't know better yet and they're not ready to hear or not ready to learn. The universe will teach them in their own time. God will send messages. Their angels will send messages. There's always going to be a way. They're always going to learn. But it's not our business to make them learn. It's our business to understand that they're not there yet. We've done the work. And that place of clarity, that reset, is a gift from the universe to us to allow us to step forward and create and share and do it from a place of overflow. Because we filled our cup first. We trust our intuition. We trust the universe. We trust when God sends us a message. We trust those angel messages that show up and give us the amount of love, exact amount of love that we need, the validation, because we're not seeing it through the filter of anger and fear and all that. We're seeing it from a place of clarity and unshakable knowledge that I've done the work. What I'm doing is I'm doing it with my best foot forward, and I'm doing it with the best intention. And when you get to that place, it's that still point, that peace that just I don't want to say the still point. That one's coming next, which is a little bit different, and it can be confusing. But once you understand and get through it, that full circle moment is the one that's gonna allow you. So the next one comes, say, the 26th. So on the 29th at 10 a.m. will be this still point. And that's going to be the struggle, because that means you're on, when you're at the tip of the iceberg, you're right there. And then that's where most people self-sabotage. That's when they fall back to old patterns. That's when those things happen. Okay, you've come this far. You're not going to fall back. Nobody that's came and actually truly done these processes and done the work, you're not falling back. Okay, that's not saying you're never going to make a mistake or something, or get angry or frustrated, because they're valid and they're human. But the point is, when those things happen, you know how to come back to this space. You know how to check in with you, how to see, okay, am I doing this out of anger? Am I doing this out of rage? Am I doing this out of resentment or fear or any of those things? And you sit with it, and you question yourself, and you get accountable, and you have to sit there and stand accountably and say, okay, I'm not. Nope. This is, I'm justified in being angry, but I want to make sure that I'm understanding the process of why I'm angry, what scared me, what it was. So now when I move forward, I'm clear, 1000% clear. And when you learn how to do that and process that, you're unshakable. Because what you're doing is you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, what your intuition, what your knowledge, what you've learned to date has taught you. And you know that if you have to, that you're always going to have to learn more. So the next lesson that comes in, it's going to be a lot easier to process and understand the lesson. They say new levels, new devils, and that's what it is. The decisions get a little bit different. They get a little more complicated, but you've learned that, right? You've already learned that. So now you're processing it, and it's just about asking that extra question, showing up. But when you get to that place of peace and you know how to constantly come back to that place of peace, you know that your steps moving forward are always going to be to the highest, best good of all. And that's the most important thing that we can do. That's what I got for this one. And if you get a chance, go check out my website. By the end of this week, I will have all of this content listed for each one. You can check it out. This is my logo, so if you see it posted, it's my work, my creations. And my website is creativelyguided.ca. You can go, I have guided journals you can download instantly, or print or whatever. And I have my small reflection story called When the Villain Meant Well. I have some artwork. I have all my handmade teas, tinctures, some alignment crystals and stuff. Lots of new stuff coming. We're working our way there. But if you want to go check it out, by all means, go check it out. There's lots of good stuff there. And yeah, I hope this message helped. If you missed it and you're just coming in and you want to check it out, I always try to get them up by the end of the day. It has been a hectic week. Vars, welcome back. It's been a hectic week, so it might take, it took a little bit longer, but I'm making it my focus today to make sure everything's up there. And then by the end of the month, they will all be on my website. So I appreciate you all for showing up. And for sure, the next one will be the 29th. There'll be a couple lives in between for December action steps. But for the most part, the next one is the still point. It's the fun one. We're almost done this content series. And then I have a whole nother one for December. So I love you guys. Thanks for showing up, and I hope you have a good day. Take care.